Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Chuck Graham Show. We are going to get into the news today. And there is so much to get into. What do we got? Shredding trucks up in Cobb County, Georgia. Now, do we know what they're shredding? No, but it appears to me, it's just my opinion, fact checkers, that it is absentee ballots or the envelopes. Why would you have a shredding truck? A shredding truck at a voting precinct while there is a recount going on. Folks, this is felony stuff. I mean, what's going on here and the voter fraud and 300 affidavits that they've had? This is like this is fraud on a level that we've never seen or we've never caught. We can't really say that this is never happened before. I'm sure it has. And what idiots. These states, did they not do their due diligence when they went and were purchasing and spending millions of dollars on the Dominion software and the voting machines? What did they do? Just no due diligence whatsoever. They didn't trace it back to Chavez or Venezuela or the company that is behind it all, and that is, it just eludes me. Gosh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Starmatic, anyway, something Matic. And what gets me is that nobody looked. These voting machines were designed for fraud. And you don't have to go any further than the user manual that tells you all the features, not glitches, features that this software has, that this Dominion voting machines and their software have. Not glitches, features. You can switch the votes. You can delete the votes. You can do a host of things. Why in the hell would you have a software tallying or a voting system that would allow you to switch the votes? I mean, we've got hundreds, 300 affidavits from people that witnessed it, even some Democrats that are actually honest. Let's look at Parler for a second. It's the only place you're going to get any news worth a damn. And Mark Levine says, why did NBC raise questions about Dominion voting systems? Chinese parts, hidden ownership, growing scrutiny inside America's biggest maker of voting machines, China. And they had an office in Detroit, right there. It was Detroit or Canada. I think they had both. One of them was right next to a office of who? Soros, a company that Soros owned. If they trace this back and they can prove in court that there was vote switching going on, and George Soros or any other billionaire, if they can link that to them, they need to be tried for treason and voter fraud and interference in voter, and they need to go to jail. And if they find out that Facebook and Twitter were suppressing information for the other side, now keep in mind, folks, I don't give a damn if you're Democrat or Republican. This is bad. You don't suppress people's opinion. These fact checkers, they're not fact checkers. They're people that have a dissenting opinion. Let me give you an example. If you go to the doctor and you say, my tummy hurts, I'm sick. Okay. Oh shit, you got an appendicitis. You go to another doctor, you got an infection. You go to a lawyer, a good lawyer, and you present your case. And you say, my wife was messing around on me. That didn't matter, which that probably would be true. And you go to another one that has a different opinion about that. And he says, oh, wait a minute. Oh, my God, this is, she screwed up with the sanctity of marriage and all that. My point being is this, dissenting opinions. That's what this country's about. And if you're not smart enough to be able to tell when something that you don't agree with and do your own research, these are not fact checkers. There's not a fact out there that they're presenting. What they'll do is they'll say, oh, well, this is partially false because this, and this. Well, okay. That's not fact checking. That's not giving me the facts on something that is not true. That's giving me a dissenting opinion. That's your opinion about what was said. It's that simple. I like Chevrolets. People like Fords. I think Fords are better. Some people think Chevrolets are better. It's just opinions. But that's not what they're doing. They're suppressing speech. And what I'm getting at is this. If Zuckerberg and Dorsey are caught suppressing information on purpose to influence an election, it's going to be a hard step. This is going to be hard to prove. But if they do, they need to go to jail. They need to do the perp walk. They need to raid Facebook and raid Twitter. Raid them. And don't think that hasn't ever happened. The FBI has raided banks and all sorts of institutions. This would be nothing new. But the first thing that needs to happen is Christopher Wray needs to have his ass fired. And that other chick that runs the CIA, and her name eludes me at this point, but she needs to be fired too. It's that simple. I don't know why Trump keeps these people around. What, to give them enough rope to hang themselves? And I think, this is strictly my opinion. My opinion. Who's to say they didn't try to do it last time and something went wrong? I don't think so. I think what happened is they thought Hillary Clinton was such a strong candidate that she was going to blow him out of the water. And so they didn't bother with it. Texas had it right, though. Texas wouldn't use the Dominion software or the voting machines. They were too prone to fraud. So if you move on to Parler, and if you haven't used Parler, you need to go there, man. I mean, it's a great platform. And if you look at some of the news feeds on here, I'll give you an example. The Trump team help stop voter suppression, irregularities, and fraud. Tell us what you are seeing. Report a case. djt45.co/stop fraud. And Mark Levine again, legitimate questions before and after the election, not a conspiracy. What he's talking about is some of the Democrats and a lot of the news media, New York Times, they had concerns about Dominion software. Now they have no concerns. I wonder why. They don't give a shit how creepy Dementia Joe gets into office. They don't care. He's not going to be there that long anyway. He could barely string two sentences together. And have you heard this idiot? They ask him, a reporter asked him, what are you doing about schools? Are you going to make sure that the schools are reopened, President-elect? Which he's not the President-elect. No votes have been certified yet. But are you going to open the schools back up? And he's sitting there going, I don't know why you're asking that. That's quite. I'm like, good God Almighty. I mean, this guy, he can barely string two sentences together. And that laugh, oh my God, it's kind of like clowns or midgets in the haunted house. Jesus Christ. But I don't think he's going to win it. I don't. I think at the end of the day, it's going to end up, they were accusing Trump of bumping the court. I read that just a few minutes ago. Bumping the court. You know what they're talking about, right? He's trying to get through all these district courts that are going to shut him down, and just appeal until it all combines up, ends up at the United States Supreme Court, which we have a conservative majority. And just do away with Roberts. That fucker hadn't been conservative in, I don't know, since 2 weeks after he was sworn in. So here's the thing. All it's going to take is for them to throw out the absentee ballots that doesn't have signatures or doesn't have this. That's all it's going to take. And then what's going to happen then? Well, Trump's going to win. How do you go from almost going to bed in Pennsylvania and having an 800,000 vote lead? How? And then you wake up in the morning, oh shit, you lost. Doesn't make any sense. How does 130,000 votes come in? I think that was Michigan. How does that come in the middle of the night and only the votes were voted for Biden? No downvoting. No senators voted. It's because they didn't have time. I wonder what sweatshop they were in. You know? We need votes out now. I don't know. I mean, you got to laugh or you'd cry. But Sidney Powell, I believe it's Powell. I hope I don't have her last name wrong. I have a lot of respect for her. She's working like hell to expose this fraud. My wife gets mad at me probably every single day because all I talk about is politics. So I've got to quit talking about politics. And at least in front of her. She's tired of hearing it. Me, it concerns me. Now, a little bit about the coronavirus. Now, I was reading just the other day that 4 people have been reinfected by the virus. 4. And I also saw it on Louder with Crowder, which I love his show. That 4 people, really? 4 people? Just 4 have been reinfected. Huh. Oh, but that's what Ron Paul was talking about when he said, throw the mask away. Throw the fucking mask away and go live your life. You have immunity. And they go, no, you don't have immunity. Nope, you don't have immunity. That scientifically, that hadn't been proven yet. Okay, but what has been proven is only 4 have been reinfected. Now, the fact is, then if that's true, and we don't know about that, that's not scientific. You can't say that. Well, if that's true, then what the fuck are we doing with the vaccine? All that does is speed up herd immunity. The vaccine is a part of the virus that they give you so that your body will enact an immune response so that you are immune to the fucking virus. So why are we having a vaccine if it doesn't work? Why? Because they know that this virus is not nearly as deadly. And this virus, in my opinion, I have no facts of this, but in my opinion, if Joe Biden was to get certified as the president-elect, and let's just say he did, and he was going to be sworn in, this virus would go away like that. And I heard some rhetoric that was being posted about, well, now the mutating virus. Well, I've listened to some immunologists talk about mutating viruses. And every one of them say that in all the cases of mutating viruses, it always gets less deadly, not more deadly. I know it scares people about mutations, but they say that it gets less deadly, not more deadly. And this damn virus, if you're under 70 and you have no underlying conditions like diabetes and you've lived your life like an old fucking honky-tonk for the past 20 years, and let's just say, and you get this virus, you have a 99.8% 8% survival rate, roughly. This thing is not as deadly. SARS, COVID, 78% matched to COVID-19. 60 million people in America got infected, and hell, you didn't even fucking know it. Why? Because they couldn't shut down the economy. It never restarted. It was under Obama. Oh, we're not going to tell these people to wear masks. Hell no. They wanted to shut down because they wanted to tank Donald Trump. And if you don't believe me, go back and look at Bill Maher when he was on TV saying, I would rather this country go into a depression or a recession than to have this commander-in-chief. It would be worth it. Sure, it would be worth it for you because you have millions of dollars. But I tell you what, Ghost Rider, you have never been in a situation where the banks fail. You let the banks fail and you can't get your money, and you're right there in them damn food lines with everybody else because you're millions of dollars. You woke up, you went to bed with $30 or $40 million, and you woke up with zip. Yeah. And trust me, the shit can happen. Banks can fail. Don't believe me? Washington Mutual. That fucker was in bankrupt for 12 years? Shareholders got fair and reasonable. Yeah. We're going to give you stockholders fair and reasonable. After all of it was said and done, your fair and reasonable was reverse split of 29. For every share you had, or for every 29 shares you had, you got one of that new company, and that awesome company, Mr. Cooper. Yeah. So don't tell me it can't happen. Washington Mutual was one of the biggest banks. Now, did anybody lose? No. J.P. Morgan took over the deposits. But the fact is, it can happen. And when it does affect these people like Bill Maher with their huge and big and great bank accounts and their big castles, and their security starts leaving them because, well, they can't pay them because their money's been frozen. You don't wish for a depression or a recession, you fucking idiot. I don't care who's president. Look, it's not going to be that devastating anyway if Biden's president. I mean, hell, like I said, he can barely, string two sentences together. So it couldn't be that devastating if we keep control of the Senate and then 2 years get control of the House. Because when we get control of the House, Kamala Harris will probably be president. This guy is 80. I saw a video yesterday where, no social distancing. There was a crowd of people in there. No social distancing, no mask, no nothing, singing happy birthday. It is great. These rules are great for thee, but not for me. I look at the governor of California, $3,000 per plate lunch or whatever the hell it cost over there. That fancy-ass restaurant that they were at, all gathered together, just breathing all that corona. Yeah. Oh, and guess what? Then these people that were pro-Biden, they started saying, no, this was his birthday. We reposted his birthday celebration from 2019 before the pandemic. Bullshit. You know why it's bullshit? I'll tell you why it's bullshit. I downloaded the video and I ran it through a piece of software that will look at the dates. I'm not talking about going to properties and looking at the dates. I ran it through some software that gives everything about that video. You know when it was created? The afternoon of 11/20/2020. Yeah, it's a fucking lie. But hey, if you're going to try to steal the election, then why not lie about your birthday video? They know, folks. Masks don't work. They don't. And let me tell you, and that's my opinion. Don't fact check me on that, because we could go back and forth with fact checkers on that. However, Google has scrubbed all the information that's dissenting of the CDC. Now hear me out on this for a second. You want us to take the advice of your medical professionals, right? If you were going to trial because you had been convicted of a crime, what would you want? Would you want that high-priced lawyer? Or would you want that public defender? Nothing against public defenders. I got a friend of mine that's a public defender. But I'm just saying, being practical. Well, these people that work for the government, like Dr. Dobbs in Mississippi and Fauci of the CDC, yeah, they're the equivalent of the medical public defender. You have immunologists all over this country that have dissenting opinions on this, but we hang on the words of our officials. Our officials haven't practiced medicine in decades, in real world environments. Awesome. Frontline people, folks. Who are you going to trust? You going to trust the guys that they get paid a lot of money to and work in frontline in these situations? Or are you going to trust the medical professionals? You should listen to all of them. That's what you should do. You should listen to everybody and then make your decision, because it's not up to the medical professionals. They give their opinions. The president or the governors either abide by them or they don't. If it was me and I was the governor of the state of Mississippi, I wouldn't have shut down. I wouldn't have had mask requirements. I'd have issued executive orders prohibiting mask requirements from the locales. And I would have said, if people want to wear a mask, wear them. About like having an extra pair of underwear in your pocket in case you shit yourself. That's about how effective it is. But hey, don't take my word for it. Put it on. Because look, you're talking about a virus that's 20 to 200 nanometers? And we're supposed to believe that a bandana around your face works good for bank robberies, not so good for viruses. And, and hell, look at the box on the surgical mask. Doesn't protect you from COVID-19. I was reading one of the boxes on those. But hey, the fact of the matter is this. People are free. They are smart people. And they can make decisions for themselves. If you want to stay your ass home, then stay your ass home. They'll deliver your groceries. If you don't want to go to work, don't go to work. You might get fired, but don't go. If you're that damn scared, don't go. There's a lot of people have phobias. I'm going to go. If I die of COVID-19, so be it. Hell, I might die in a car accident going to get COVID-19. So, whatever. And people don't mention that either. They don't mention the 48,000 people last year that died in car accidents, or 34,000 that died in fallings. And let's get the great ones. Liquor stores, they're essential. 84,000 people, alcohol-related deaths last year. 600,000 died of cancer. What if that number is 1.2 million this year because they were afraid to go get their screenings and start their treatment for cancer? What if? Don't know that. We'll see. Well, that's it for the today's show, folks. I am glad y'all have stuck around for my ranting behavior. But don't take my word for this. Go look it up yourself. It's just my opinion. Don't fact check me. Or do. I don't care. Until next time, folks.